The review session, the Brunswick City Council, December 7th, 2016. We have ordinances on first reading, 601, ordinance to amend and supplement revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 17, zoning, Chapter 17, land and lane. 602, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, vehicles and traffic, Schedule 38, time limit parking areas, Somerset Street. 603, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, vehicles and traffic, Schedule 41A, parking by permit only in designated residential areas, Highland Square. We have resolutions. 601, approve agenda amendment. 602, approve payroll. 603, authorize refund for redeemed tax sale certificates. 604, approve 2017 City Council meeting schedule. 605, approve request for street closing, requested by Sedan Street Reformed Church. The location Drift Street between Sedan Street and Townsend Street, annual Christmas party and gift distribution day. The date is Saturday, December 10, 2016, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. 606, approve amendment of resolution R111583, raising additional funds of $13,500 for payroll processing services in ACA tracking and reporting with Prime Point LLC for 2016 municipal payroll services not to exceed $13,500. 607, authorize tax collector to transfer credits on several tax and utility accounts. 608, authorize refund to Property Transfer Services Incorporated against Block 320, Lot 10.01, 59 Juliet Street for 2016 taxes in the amount of $1,070.40.23 due to overpayment. 609, approve order contract with Kennedy Culver and Supply Co. Furnish and deliver gate valves and appurtenances for the water utility. Term 12-month period commencing December 8, 2016 and ending December 7, 2017. Specification number 55916W, not to exceed $200,000. 610, approve payment of special public defender services, Thomas Abode LLC, not to exceed $4,050. 611, authorized purchase by police department of the Scranton Police Cooperative Pricing System. System identifier 47-CPCPS. From Day Chevrolet Incorporated for one 2017 Chevy Tahoe 4x4 police vehicle, not to exceed $34,165. 612, approve amendment of resolution R111619 to pay $22,000 for repair of water main breaks for the water utility with B&W Construction Co. of New Jersey for equipment and labor, not to exceed $23,000. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 613, approve amendment of resolution R031315 to pay copy overage charges in the amount of $500 for the tax assessor's digital copier with GE Capital Information Tech Solutions doing business as Rico USA, not to exceed $500. Approval of this amendment will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 614, approve amendment resolution R011634, reason to pay $2,500 for legal services related to tax assessments and tax appeals for the year 2016 for the Division of Assessments with D. Francesco, Bateman, Coley, Yoskin, Kudzman, Davis, Lear, and Flum. For 2016 Special Counsel for Tax Appeals, Conflict Division of Assessments from $5,000 to $7,500. 615, approve amendment of resolution 021604, reason to pay $4,000 for additional printing and computer services, processing services for the year 2016 for the Division of Assessments with Vital Communications Incorporated for 2016 tax assessment computer program, and technical support and associated printing, binding and mailing services, Division of Assessments from $20,000 to $24,000. 616, approve amendment resolution R011633 to pay $20,000 for ongoing tax appeals for the year 2016 for the Division of Assessments for Hogan, Wallow, Moran, Guns, and Dukas. For the 2016 Special Counsel for Tax Appeals, Division of Assessments from $50,000 to $70,000. 617, approve amendment resolution R091661, reason to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $1,200 to Anthony Viola, Esquire, Boris Golden, Paul Viola, Hyman Stahl for Special Counsel for Board of Ethics hearings from $13,354.92 to $14,554.92. 618, approve award of contract with South and Associates LLC for proprietary consulting services for the police department. Term is 8-month period commencing May 31st, 2016, and ending January 31st, 2017, not to exceed $13,550 non-pro 619, approve request for solicitation of funds requested by Rutgers University Habitat for Humanity Campus Chapter. Dates of January 28, 29, 2017, February 4, 5, 11, 12, 2017. Time is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Location George Street, Commercial Avenue, Dudley Road, and Rogers Lane. 620, resolution authorizing budget transfers, 2016 municipal budget. 621, approve request for use of city property, sidewalk only, requested by Community Baptist Church of Somerset. The location, sidewalk in front of the train station, distribution of religious literature, and clothing for the needy and homeless. Date is Saturday, December 10, 2016. Rain date Saturday, January 7, 2017. Time is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 622, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance requested by Souter Crane Rental. Reason, crane lift to replace a mechanical chiller at 1 Johnson & Johnson Plaza at the Child Development Care Building. Dated Saturday, December 17, 2016. The alternate date is Saturday, January 7, 2017. Time is 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. 623, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance requested by Souter Crane Rental. Place a crane on Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital property inside the fence line located on French Street, just east of the Patterson Street and French Street intersection, in order to replace a mechanical plate at the hospital. Date, Saturday, December 10, 2016. Alternate date, Saturday, December 17, 2016. Time, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. 624, approve relaxation of city noise ordinance requested by Amput Crane Rentals. Reason, crane lift on French Street for the removal of cooling towers from the roof of Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. Date, Saturday, November 26, 2016. Time, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Non-pro tum. 625, approve amendment resolution R111623. Pay additional legal fees in the amount of $13,734.10 to the Palmer Law Firm. Special counsel, City of Brunswick versus Marback Construction from 194,978.71 to 208, 712.81. 626, approve relaxation of city ordinance requested by Verizon, New Jersey. Reason, clear duct obstructions and rod existing conduit on the following streets: Baird Street, Wilson Street, Joyce Clover Avenue, George Street between Church Street and Albany Street between George Street and Nielsen Street, Church Street between George Street and Nielsen Street. Dates Monday, December 12, 2016, Friday, December 16, 2016. Time is 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. 627, approved purchase by Police Department with state contract A88727T-2100 from Celebrity Ford, doing business as Buyer Ford for one Ford F-250 truck not to exceed $28,627. 628, approved purchase by Police Department with state contract A83011/T2007 from Hertrick Fleet Services Incorporated for two 2017 Jeep Patriots not to exceed $38,071.50. 629, approval order contract with Atlantic Salt Incorporated for treated rock salt for public works and water utility departments for 12-month period commencing December 8, 2016, and then November 30, 2017, not to exceed $87,750. Middlesex County Cooperative Purchasing Program, CK12, Middlesex from Atlantic Salt Incorporated. 630, approve amendment resolution R081364, reason pay the additional amount of $19,890.08 for observation costs and amend the funding source for the balance of the contract with Mott McDonald for professional engineering services for relocation of two 20-inch water mains at the intersection of Route 1 and Route 18, not to exceed $30,120.87. Specification number 83413 RFP. 631, approve amendment of resolution R101648, reason to pay the additional legal fees in the amount of $1,139 to Benedict Walton for Police Director Anthony Caputo, in the matter of Victor Rodriguez, versus City of Brunswick from 284150 to 292050. 632, approve amendment of resolution R101663, change order number 6 Riva with Underground Utilities Corporation for 2015 sanitary sewer system improvement project phase 1A. Specification number 89215A. Amount is $11,643.78. Approval of this change order will constitute an increase of 20% or more of the original contract. 633, approve amendment of resolution R02164 to reason to pay $780 for interpreting services with Elsa Gomez, Elsa Gomez. Interpreters for municipal court not to exceed $780, specification number 49716 RFP. 634, approve amendment resolution R101618 to pay addition electrical maintenance and repair service in the amount of $3,000 for the water utility with Sal Electric Incorporated for electrical maintenance and repairs not to exceed $3,000. Approval of this change order will constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 635, approved transfer of taxi license number 34 from Assad 100% to Fowles Assad 100%. 636, approve off-premise raffle merchandise at 59 Beale Road, Cook Campus Center, Rutgers University, New Jersey Forestry Association Incorporated, date March 18, 2017. 637, approve on-premise raffle 50/50 at 59 Beale Road, Cook Campus Center, Rutgers University, New Jersey Forestry Center Association, date March 18, 2017. 638, authorize professional services agreement with Wellness Coaches USA for health and injury prevention services to the city of New Brunswick employees, current 12-month period, commencing November 1, 2016, and ending October 31st, 2017, not to exceed $7,000, non-pro temp. 639, approve amendment resolution R-101-628, reason change the term of the contract from 12 months to 36 months with Remedy Analytics Incorporated for prescription claims, analytics, and technology. 36-month period commencing October 6, 2016, and ending October 5th, 2019. Specification number 55816 RFP. 640, approve amendment resolution R-121584, change order number 2 with Allied Construction Group Incorporated for DNR Canal and Weston's Mill Pump Stations upgrade. Specification number 24512WR. The amount is $540,306.62. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 641, approve amendment resolution 071650, reason additional funds for 2016 administration fees with Aetna Healthcare. Additional COF, the term is July 1, 2016 to June 30, 2017. The amount is $160,000. That it? That's it. Okay. Let's start the meeting. Let's call a roll call, please.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Escobar.
Here.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Here.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Present.
Council President Egan.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gives sufficient notice of time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the municipal council of the city of New Brunswick, has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper of the city of New Brunswick, namely the Home News Tribune. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, we'll have a moment of silence for our men and women serving in our armed forces. Today is a special day, obviously, Pearl Harbor Day. Remember them who lost their lives there or in any battle. We have minutes from September 21st, 2016. I have a motion on the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Egan.
Yes. Ordinances on first reading. 601, ordinance to amend supplement revised general ordinance of the city of New Brunswick, Title 17. Zoning, Chapter 17, Landing Lane. Move it.
Move the ordinance setting down Wednesday, December 21st at 6:30 p.m. Same date to be advertised.
Second.
Advertised.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Egan.
Yes. 602, ordinance to amend the supplement revised general ordinance of the city of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule 38, time limit parking areas, Somerset Street.
Move the ordinance setting down December 21st, 6:30 p.m. for approval, same day to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Egan.
Yes. 603, ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the city of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule 41A, Parking by permit only in designated residential areas, Hiram Square.
Move the ordinance setting down December 21st for public hearing, same day to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Egan.
Yes. We now move to the resolutions. We have resolutions 601 to 641. Would anybody from the public like to comment on any of the particular resolutions this evening, on the resolutions? Yes, sir, step right up.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Charles Craddock,
Evening, sir.
the editor of New Brunswick Today, resident of the city. Thank you for the opportunity to address you. The first one I'd like to ask about is the number 610, Thomas Abode, Special Public Defender. What is a special public defender and why do we need it?
Mr. Shannon?
Actually, Mr. Abode is filling in for Mr. Beach. Mr. Beach was the retained public defender. Mr. Beach, as of August 1st, hasn't been serving as our public defender for personnel reasons, which I can't discuss. But Mr. Abode has filled in, and in Mr. Beach's absence, Mr. Abode is being paid for those sessions. Mr. Beach wasn't paid, obviously.
Thank you, Mr. Shannon.
So a follow-up question, if that's been going on since August the 1st, why is the council only approving it now, 4 or 5 months later?
Well, it's only 3 months later, and Mr. Abode will probably serve through the end of December, and so you'll probably see another bill. But reappointments come up in January, so Mr. Abode is filling in an interim basis under the authority that I have under the ordinance as city attorney.
Okay. So he just sent the bill now, so that's why we're paying him now, yes, pretty much, right, Mr. Shannon?
That's correct.
Okay, just for the record, December is 4 months after August.
And this bill only represents 3 months, it's through the end of November, I believe.
Well, we'll be in charge of 3 months' worth of billing, according to Mr. Shannon.
Gotcha.
He got the math on the ordinance from December.
Can you just tell me, do you plan to make Mr. Abode the official permanent public defender starting next year, or is Mr. Beach going to be
I don't think we
renominated?
want to comment on it.
We don't know that either, we don't have made a decision in that regard.
Can you give any details of what this issue is, why there has to be a change? I see Mr. Beach walking around, I know
He
he's
said it's a
okay.
personnel issue and he cannot comment on it. If you know how to add from August, because you know it's 4 months, he just said that they can't comment on it, so obviously you figured that, you can't comment. Okay, well, you know what I mean.
Saying, sometimes you say you can't comment on things, but,
We wouldn't say,
can.
we wouldn't say it if we didn't need it.
Okay.
I don't think Mr. Shannon would say it if he didn't need it.
well, I'd like
What else you
to,
got?
yeah, the ethics board, 17, paying Mr. Vignola more money to continue fighting this case. Can I ask, how many members are currently on the ethics board?
Mr. Shannon?
I don't know them by name, I can't tell you exactly. I think there may be a vacancy, but I don't know exactly off the top of my head.
The total amount of members on the board?
Total amount of members on the board, I believe, is 7.
It should be 6, but according to the city website, there's only 4 right now.
There's an
So,
alternate too.
and I'm concerned because this board also hasn't had a meeting in some time, so their attorney keeps sending bills, but this board doesn't really get together. They don't have a full complement of members. Is there any, nobody can even tell me who's on the board? What?
Mr. Egan, for clarification, this bill is not for Mr. Vignola's representation of the board in the local matters. It's for a matter that Mr. Craddock actually has appealed to the state, and that is what the bill represents, costs for that appeal.
Right, I'm not suggesting that the bill's not valid. I'm suggesting that the board isn't holding meetings, so they're presumably not getting any updates on the case, not able to make a decision whether to continue, and the bills just keep piling up. The board had
He just told you, Mr. Craddock, the bill is to fight something that you're appealing. We're fighting your case to the state. He's not dealing with the board at this time. He's dealing with the state of New Jersey, with Mr. Vignola. That's the bill that he's sending out right now. And that's what we're here to talk about, the bill. We're not here to talk about who's on the board or anything like that. We're here to talk about the additional legal fees that he's charged.
Well, I'd just like to reiterate my concern that this is a dysfunctional board that has not had a meeting in more than half a year and doesn't have a full complement of members. So I'm concerned about that. And I think anyone who's concerned about ethics should take action. You should make sure that people get appointed to that board and that their decisions are actually being done in the proper way and not just being handled by one attorney who spends most of his time living in Florida. The next item is number 18. Can you tell me what these proprietary consulting services are that the police department is?
From what I read, I think it's some type of training with the police department. Is Captain Miller here? Captain Miller?
There's a project spearheaded by the city. It's a collaboration of the police department and the Board of Education for an educational program with high school students. Similar to the DARE program, but this has to deal with the criminal justice system. South & Associates was hired to assist in developing the curriculum, and it's going to be rolled out. I think it just started rolling out now with students in the high school and educated on the criminal justice system.
Okay. Sounds interesting. And is there a reason that this is being approved after the fact? June, July, August, several months after the fact? Is there a reason that this wasn't brought to the council sooner?
Captain?
I don't have that.
Okay. Number 25, legal fees for this case keep mounting. They're over $200,000 now. Can I get an update on the case? Is it over yet?
Mr. Shannon?
Almost. I think the last hearing date is next week, and then they'll submit written closing arguments. Hopefully, 30 and 60 days thereafter, we'll have a written decision from the AAA arbitration panel. So,
And that's binding, right? Whatever they decide.
whatever they decide, that's our only shot. Exactly.
Is the city feeling confident about the outcome?
Well, I don't think that goes well with law.
The lawyer can never guarantee the result, but we got all the best resources, and like I expressed to the council on numerous occasions, it has to be vigorously defended because the amount of damages that they're seeking is well over $1.7 million, so it's a serious matter.
Okay. And just a little bit about the firm. Is this the firm that used to be known as Skur de Palma? Or is that a different firm? That's like an engineering firm.
Engineering firm.
Okay. So this is a different law firm.
Short Palmer
unrelated.
was an engineering firm.
Short
They
Palmer.
still did.
Okay. And is there a reason they were chosen over, why didn't the city just handle this matter itself? Is it, why did the city hire an outside firm?
Mr. Shannon?
Yeah, Mr. De Palma specializes in construction litigation, a specialty that I don't have, and I don't think anybody in our law department has. And due to the seriousness of the claims and the requirement that you have to have a lawyer with requisite expertise, who also has the ability and contacts with experts that we need to submit expert opinions on our behalf, Mr. De Palma was selected.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it's fair to say there was no bidding process for that. It was just you chose them.
There need not be a bidding process for
Professional services doesn't have to go out to bid.
Okay, thank you. The next one I want to ask about is 30, the Mott McDonald professional engineering services for the relocation of water mains. Is this the same main that burst in September and caused the water boil?
I think so, but you can answer.
I can speak to that.
Yeah.
Specific to this, these costs are all going to be reimbursed. This was our design and our field inspections when the state relocated 2 water mains in order to accommodate the new exit ramp. The location of the burst was adjacent to, but was not part of what was done. It was actually maybe 30 feet away from it or something like that. But yeah, one of the mains is the ones that burst. But specific to this resolution, these are reimbursable costs from the state back to us.
Thank you very much. I want to ask about the next one, or just make a comment really that this is yet another bill for the police director who has never been to a council meeting in all my time attending council meetings. And I don't understand why the council doesn't just ask him to attend a meeting. Is there a reason that he doesn't have to attend the meetings, but some of the other directors always do?
We're talking about the resolutions, Mr. Cradible. Let's
Yeah,
stick
you're
to the
paying his legal
resolution.
bills.
That
You're
has
paying
nothing to do with the
$29,000
resolution.
for his,
Has
he's
nothing to
he's
do with
being
the
sued.
resolution.
and you're paying for his lawyers,
Has
and he
nothing to
doesn't
do
think
with
it's important enough to be here, and I'm just asking,
That's
does
your
the council,
comment.
does the council
We
think
have no- we're not
he
commenting.
should be here? Do you think he should?
Move on, sir.
No, obviously not, you don't think it's important for the
I'm
police director to come.
talking about the resolutions, sir.
Okay, I'm just asking for
Well, then,
my
okay,
city to do a better job.
That's not sticking to the resolutions.
Excellent.
That's all, that's a sideshow.
Okay, well, I think people
Okay.
probably share my view that the police director ought to show up at one council meeting a year. Is that so much to ask? Is it?
Is it so much to ask to move on, sir? Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask about all three of the last resolutions on the final page. 39. Why the change from 12-month contract to a 36-month contract?
Remedy Analytics has come back to us and said that they cannot perform their services within a 12-month period. Their standard form of contract is 36 months. We only let out initially a 12-month contract with a 1-year renewal at our option. Our law department looked at it. We looked at the statute closely. You can enter into a 3-year contract for certain insurance matters. This group is going to stay with the prescription benefit provider, whoever that is, and they are going to ensure that all the scripts are paid correctly, that they're coded correctly, if they're a generic, that they're coded in the system correctly, and any savings that they produce for us, they will earn a 20% fee. But the initial contract really covered 24 months, 12 plus a 1-year option. Remedy said they could not provide the service and provide the kind of value to us if they were not under their standard form of contract. We discussed it with the law department. We decided to acquiesce and present the 36-month contract to you. Again, they only get paid if they save money after a baseline has been established. The second, is that sufficient?
Just, so they already signed a contract and then they asked you to change it?
No, it wasn't signed.
Okay,
Wasn't
so,
signed. It hadn't been executed, it did not pass. The law department had some comments about their form of contract. We presented those comments to them, they accepted them. They returned to us saying they could only enter into a 36-month contract. On their side of things, we've considered that and we decided to go in that direction.
thank you. And the next one I want to ask about this change order for the pumping station upgrades.
Yes,
What's-
Mark.
yeah.
Evening, Council. I appreciate your time hearing me out on this very important change order and quite frankly, very expensive change order. One of the things I've always found in my experience of doing this type of work, especially when we're redeveloping existing facilities, is that before you break ground underneath the asphalt, underneath the surface, there's always going to be a lot of unknowns because a lot of work has gone on there. If you come down to my office, I have a picture on the wall of the Mill South where the original intake is, and it's got horse and buggy pictures on it. And so, you know, once we start digging into the ground, there's so much construction and demolition work that's going on that there's a lot of unknowns, and I apologize for that. But briefly, we'll just go through some of the highlights here. And the first one is with the Mill South and the sinkhole that was developing. In order to reinstall or redevelop our screening system that we have there, we had water issues in getting water there. And once we dug into the ground, there was all kinds of like brick, old steel, different structures that had to be addressed, and we had to move around. We also had, we referred to the 20-inch large water mains that go through the intersection of Route 1 and Route 18. Well, they all terminate down there as well. And they actually terminate inside one of our buildings. That had to be cut off, separated, fire hydrants installed, and issues there. We also had power issues with the DNR canal, with the installation of a brand new generator that all came from as a result of the event with Sandy that was there. We had a lot of issues with transformers that were down there. If you remember, we had transformer issues recently in the news in Milltown that had to be removed. And I'm happy to say they've been removed safely with no issues associated with that. As I mentioned earlier, we had issues with the 20-inch line. The intent of this change order was to gather as many items together as I possibly could prior to presenting it to the council. In due course of putting this together, during an investigation which we were investigating the possibility of having asbestos down at the canal associated with the heating system, when we had the specialist down there, we had an issue with paint that was on the wall. And the expert that was down there took a look at the paint and said, hey, you may want to check it, it may have lead in it. And sure enough, did our due diligence, tested it, indeed, it does have lead in it. In order to get that lead out, it's very expensive. I brought Mr. Tompak from Mont McDonald, which can explain the process a little more in detail than I'm going to be able to. But I think it's very important that we get this right out front. This is paint that's inside the control room, okay? It's inside where the pumps and the motors are, not where the water is. This has nothing to do with any lead paint being in contact with the raw water source. But in order to get it out, okay, it's a very expensive process, and it's the majority of what this change order is all about, because it has to be taken off the walls, and as soon as it's taken off, it has to be vacuumed, taken out of the building, put into proper storage for proper disposal, so the public's not at risk. So, all right. If you have any further questions, Mr. Tompak, can I say?
Could I hear a little bit about the process from Mr. Peck?
Sure. Good evening. My name is Mark Tompak, Senior Vice President with Mont McDonald, and we serve as the consultant for the City of New Brunswick on the DNR Canal and Weston's Mill Pump Station. What Mark just described as far as the history of the lead paint issue at the DNR Canal Pump Station speaks for itself. The process for removal of that paint system is essentially an abrasive blasting of the paint on the walls of the structure. The abrasive blast material and the paint is then collected, vacuumed, and removed from the facility. All of the openings to the wet well of the raw water pump station will be sealed with plastic in accordance with proper protocols for lead paint abatement prior to the actual abrasive blasting work. So this work is being done by a certified lead abatement contractor, so the procedures that are in place are consistent with industry standards.
Thank you. And the final resolution, I just want to understand the reason for these additional funds, administration fees, $160,000, please explain.
We're projecting that the Aetna claims through the end of this month will require an adjustment to the original resolution, which totaled $11.8 million. That is the largest health plan we have. Every year when we prepare the budget, I sit down with our broker of record, we look at the Aetna activity. We're self-funded, the claims come in, we pay them, Aetna adjudicates the claims for us. So when I create a budget, I do my best to predict what the claims will be for the year. We established a budget of $11.8 million. We have, at this point, the finance director and I think we need another $160,000 added to the contract to get through the month of December. 160 against, which is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, against 11.8 is 1.35%. We missed the projection by 1.35%.
Thank you.
At the end of maybe the end of the last business meeting of the year, we might find that the 160 was more than we needed. We might find that we need more, but at this point, it's our best estimate.
Thank you, everyone, for the thorough.
Thank you. Anybody else on the resolutions this evening? Anybody on the resolutions? Anybody? Seeing nobody.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes, and I'm staying on 605.
So noted. Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Yes, abstaining on 625.
625.
Yeah.
Council President Egan.
Yes. Thank you. We'll now move to the public comment in our meeting. I guess if there's nothing to item, there's nothing to discuss.
Thanks, I know. Bring it up ahead of time.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. You're right. Yes, we wanted to bring up ahead of time, if you read an article about the turf field, the company and the Star Vendors today, about we want to let you know that we did hire that company to do our field, but we didn't use that product. That product obviously is not being used anymore after all the problems they've had with it, but we just wanted to let the public know, Councilman Anderson, reported to my attention, and we talked to Mr. Lockley this morning, just to make sure that yes, we did use that company, but no, they didn't use that product. So, that's it.
Our field, of course, was
Yes.
approved in 2015, and this DuraSpine product that apparently is failing in many locations hasn't been available for purchase for 5 years now. We use a completely different product.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, now we'll move to the public portion of the meeting. Anybody like to comment to the city council? Please, yeah, come on up, you have 5 minutes. Anybody like to comment? Step right up, please.
Good evening once
Good
again.
evening.
Charles Prattville, New Brunswick today. Appreciate that there was a little update before the public portion. I would have liked to hear about the scandal that actually does involve New Brunswick, the water utility bribery scandal. Can you tell me off the bat, just right away, how many employees are currently suspended from the city payroll?
For that act or total?
Total.
Mr. Lockley?
3.
3.
2 that were named in that incident, and Del Walker.
What about the sanitation workers?
Which ones?
Newsom and Brown? The ones that were the subject of a...
Oh, you're right.
Press.
You're right. I apologize.
Okay, so 5.
5.
Actually, there might be 6, Mr. Prattville.
Who's the other one?
Okay.
A personnel matter, but it's recent.
So it's a top secret suspension.
No, it was another individual from the Public Works who was recently suspended.
And it's a secret who they are. You won't tell us.
Mr. Vigo.
First name, please?
Does anybody know Mr. Vigo's first name?
I could get it, I don't know.
I forget
Okay.
it.
He was being disciplined and was being...
Julio.
Okay, might be it.
Could I hear the rest of that sentence?
He was subject to discipline. He had asked for a hearing, and as the hearing was approached, he decided to resign. Quit. He's been since terminated.
Okay. And so of the 5 currently suspended employees, they're all suspended as a result of criminal charges that have been brought against them. That's correct?
Is that correct?
Combination thereof, criminal charges probably brought about the initial suspension, then they're charged with disciplinary charges as a result of alleged criminal actions. So it's a mix of both, I suppose you'd say.
And these actions all touched upon their offices, right? These were all crimes that involved their behavior on the job, not something that happened outside of work. And the city has, correct me if I'm wrong, about 400 employees?
No.
No, Mr. Lockley?
750 full-time, plus or minus, and then another 200 or so part-time.
So, still, 5 out of that number is an alarmingly high number, because that also doesn't include the folks who resigned, like apparently the one we just learned about tonight, Ed O'Rourke, who is now out on parole, Mike Mahoney, who is a free man after pleading guilty to possessing cocaine in his city vehicle, and multiple New Brunswick Police Department employees that have been criminally charged, and multiple New Brunswick Fire Department employees that have been criminally charged since I've been covering the city and coming to these meetings. And I would ask respectfully that the council create a committee of the whole to investigate corruption in the city as a result of this seemingly never-ending, perpetual problem of people abusing their offices and getting in trouble with the law and the city being forced to suspend them. I think that this deserves a deeper investigation. We can't just say a couple people got caught and those must have been the bad guys and everybody else is good. This deserves a deeper investigation. Mr. Council President, members of the council, I ask you tonight, will you please create a committee of the whole to investigate corruption in the city government?
We have no answer for that at this time, Mr. Crowder. This is a public comment meeting, not a public question and answer. So we have no answer for that right there.
Okay, I mean, I asked a lot of questions so far. I got answers to all of them except that one, so
Okay.
I was hoping you could.
You ask questions during the resolution period. You're entitled to the answers. This is the public comment portion of the meeting.
And I asked several questions during this public comment period, and now this is the first one that you're not willing to answer.
They were willing to answer, they were having the answer.
Oh, okay, so my elected officials won't answer.
I just gave you the answer.
No, you didn't. Will you create a committee of the whole to investigate corruption in the city government, where you are the city council president?
We're not going to answer that question at this time.
So I could just take that as a no, right? You're not going to actually
Take it
investigate?
however you want to take it.
No, listen,
Take it however you want to take it.
could I hear from any of the other council members? Do you think there's a problem with corruption in the city government?
Mr. Crabwell, I just said to you, this is not a public question and answer period. You can interview the council people during the meeting. Okay? Why don't you move on to what else you want to talk about? sir?
I'm very disappointed that you don't think there's a problem.
I didn't say that. You're putting words in everybody's mouth, sir, like you always do. That's why you're not good at
I've been to these meetings, and you always say things like, oh, we can't do anything about that, it's always going to be a problem, it'll never get better, there's nothing we can do. People come to you with serious problems, and this is how you react. You don't take the leadership, you are not being a leader. You are just saying, nothing I can do.
That's your opinion.
Why did you run for office, sir?
That's your opinion.
Why did you run for office?
I'm not-
Did you run because you wanted to change things, or did you want things to stay the same? Because that seems to be your answer every time somebody says, you know, they've got a problem with the police, or there's a problem with bribery in the water utility, the same utility where records were falsified, the public was lied to about the quality of the drinking water. We were supposed to be boiling the water before we were drinking it, and we weren't told. You don't think there's a problem? Well, I think somebody needs to investigate this, and I guess I came to the wrong place. People can continue to read New Brunswick Today for our investigations, and hopefully other government agencies will take the lead and investigate the clear and apparent corruption that is going on in this building. It is not a coincidence that all these things are happening, and we have not gotten to the bottom of it. If we are told that this was one bribe, is that what we're supposed to believe? There was one bribe, one time? That's all it was? That's a question. Was this one bribe? Or does this go deeper? Are there more people involved?
Can't comment
Who
on-
was the customer who stood to benefit from
Can't
this
comment on
bribe?
any of the things, Mr. Crabwell, it's an investigation that we're not part of.
Okay, have you looked into Victor Ortiz?
Who? Victor Ortiz.
Victor Ortiz, the fire inspector. I think if people were looking into Mike Mahoney, they might want to look into Victor Ortiz.
You got some pretty slanderous things to say. What does that mean? I don't know, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, he's a landlord, right? He's also the fire inspector. Does that make sense for him to be in that business while he's also regulating that business? I don't know, maybe people should look into this. At the last meeting, I brought up an abuse of power that's relatively minor compared to what we're talking about now. Has anybody looked into the abuse of power I brought up with Mr. Catanese using his parking privileges here to represent private clients? Mr. Shammy told me he would. Did he actually look into it?
I explained to Mr. Cradible when we were walking through the parking lot, I think on the 18th of November, that Mr. Catanese has a parking pass. Gives him the privilege to park at City Hall. I don't follow Mr. Catanese around. I don't know if he's doing city business at the moment that I spoke to Mr. Cradible or not. But quite frankly, and I think Mr. Loughlin said on a prior occasion during this meeting, that the assumption is you've got a pass because you conduct city business. There's no policy or procedure, to my knowledge, that the city has, and nor should there be, that says every second that you're parked there, you're actually in City Hall. we conduct city business at the courthouse, and I understand Mr. Cradaville thinks that because someone went over there in a private matter, that they shouldn't be parked behind City Hall. I explained to Mr. Katniss about the concerns of Mr. Cradaville, and I considered it a resolved issue. And apparently saw his truck on another occasion. It is a big vehicle, I'll give you that much, but I think he only takes up one spot. So if you're concerned about other people not being able to park, I don't think you should be. And, you know, he took it under advisement, so I considered it a resolved issue in that regard.
So after our conversation on the 18th, you didn't look into it further?
Yes, I explained to him again. I said, when you're parked there, that Mr. Crowder, and then you sent your Oprah request, and I responded accordingly.
So you again told him he's not allowed to do that?
No, I didn't say he's not allowed to park, he's allowed to park there, Mr. Crowder. That's my point.
Why is there a problem with him parking there? He has a hang tag. Now, I do know that he did tell me personally that those days he was there, he was in a court case that he was there for way too long of a period, and he would not do that again. He would not go back and do that. He didn't realize he would be in court as long as he was at that time. And if that ever arose again, he would not park his car there at this time, for those hours. But he's also entitled to park there. He's a city employee, works for the city attorney. And if he has to go across the street for 5 or 10 minutes, that's not a problem. But if it's a long period of time, like you witnessed, he will not do that again. He has assured me of that. So
thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And I thank the clerk for responding to my Oprah request. And I just, regarding that, I have a couple quick questions. Pat Egan still works for the city?
Part-time.
Part-time, okay, so she still has a parking permit. I noticed, okay, Mr. Council President, you're the only member of the council who has a parking permit. Congratulations. And is true, Mr. Rawls still has a parking permit?
Mr. Rawls?
Yes, Director Rawls.
I don't know. You have to ask Mr. Lockman or Mr. Are you on the list? Director Rawls,
assume
you
it
still have a
covers
parking
the
hang tag?
vehicle.
Yes, he does.
Okay. And how about Mr. DeBonis and Mr. Ortiz, the new defendants in this bribery scandal? Have their parking permits been taken?
I think everything is suspended from them, yes.
They gave back their parking permits?
I don't know if they actually physically gave it back today.
I can confirm.
Yes.
I can confirm one has and the other one has been required to, and I don't know.
One has and one is, we're waiting for the other one, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I have to raise, I apologize, I was not at the last meeting because I was at the Housing Authority meeting. I have to raise a serious concern about the way they're doing business there. I think everyone can agree here that the Oprah law states that you must respond to an Oprah request within 7 business days, and that's just the law of the land. The response can be as simple as saying, you know, we need more time, or you know, you're not entitled to those documents, but you have to respond. Otherwise, you're opening yourselves up to litigation, and that's what happened. Unfortunately, over the past year, I filed litigation against the Housing Authority, and you know, me and my lawyer were the prevailing party. We were correct, but I heard their attorney saying something after the last meeting that they won the case, and I'm very concerned if their attorney is mistaken about what it means to win in this case. And I'd like to I'd like to alert the council that on November 21st, I filed an Oprah request again with the Housing Authority, and they still have not responded to that request. So it's been well over 7 business days, and they are open to being sued again. I don't want to sue them again, but if they don't follow the law, it's the only mechanism to make them follow the law. I don't understand what the problem is. They obviously haven't learned their lesson. They think they won when they lost. And I will share with you, I'll leave this with you at the end of the meeting. You can have this note from Mr. John Clark about such a sob story of how poor they are at the Housing Authority. They can't afford to keep up with the Oprah requests. If they really care about those tenants and they really care about their bottom line, they would respond within 7 days, because they are really being wasteful. There's so many problems there. I obviously don't have enough time because of your 5-minute rule, and I hope that someone, maybe the liaison, will look into the Housing Authority, because it is an unmitigated disaster.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Yes, sir.
So Mel Pittman, Seamstress from Brunswick. Real quick, I want to ask the police, the captain, about a question I raised a couple weeks, not the last council meeting, but the one prior, about there was an event on the 24th of October, and I got word that the New Brunswick Police Department canceled it, and I wanted to know which officer was responsible for canceling the open
One
public
at Eastern
forum.
Park?
No, it was in,
Oh, the high school, okay.
yeah, and they said you were looking into the officer.
Captain?
I left you a message, but I'll say it again, I sent a thing to the council. Police department has nothing to do with the
Okay, oh, Ed Spencer's lying then, he's lying, Ed Spencer's lying when you saying the police.
I'm not lying, you know. not that we don't-
No, I'm just saying, that you didn't leave a message.
Yes, sir.
All right.
On your phone, every time. Goes through voicemail, I leave it voicemail.
All right. Another question, I got a phone call about maybe a month ago. You know, it was a Saturday, I was out shopping with the family, and a person had a concern about, they had a letter from the bank granting them permission to enter their home, which their home was closed down, boarded up. And they had a letter from the bank granting them permission. And there was an employee, Dominic Quagliata. Yeah, he was present, and he was prohibiting them from entering the home. There was a police there, and there were contractors there. So the person, you know, called me on my cell phone saying, you know, what could I do, whatever. And I actually spoke to Dominic, and he explained to me that he was actually off duty when he was directing the police, giving instructions to the police and the contractors. He explained to me personally on the phone. He said that he was off duty. So my concern was if they had permission to enter this residence and he's prohibiting them. My question is one: are you forcing your employees to work off duty and reprimand citizens, or was this a personal issue with Dominic that he took it upon himself to leave his home on a day off to stop people who had permission to enter a residence from not going in? I was totally confused. I didn't understand why he was even on the premises.
Mr. Quagliano, you'd like to answer?
Yeah, well, number one, they didn't have permission to go in because the city shut it down. The house was shut down by the building department 3 years
Okay, so
ago.
let's stop right there. So if the city shuts it down and they still have a letter from their bank to go into the property, they're still not allowed to go in?
Correct.
Okay.
They needed
What else do they need to go to get back in the premises?
they need to
besides the
get,
letter from
I
the
think,
building?
engineering or architect.
Excuse me?
They need engineering or architect drawings. The house is structurally unsound in some parts. It was shut down 3 years ago. We boarded it up in February this year after it was raided a second time.
My question to you is, so what would the homeowner need to get in the house besides?
He needs to
the
talk to
bank?
the building department. Mr. Fuqua came down and didn't have any problems with anything. And the building department again gave them the closure notice and what they needed to get back into the building. But the bank says there's no,
Last name is Fuqua?
yes. So I came down because we had our contractor come down on a Saturday to board it up. We had gotten, what we did, we got advised that the back door was open, that they went into the house, but they're not allowed into the house, so we decided to board it back up. So my contractor called me down because we had to get the police out there so we can board it up. But
So
we,
the way you got here was the contractor called you?
yeah, and I came down. Because I actually called the police before that because we figured we might have an issue with that. So he came down and he said, you know, I'm not gonna get the contractor in the middle of anything, although Mr. Severe was pretty good and negotiated everything out. Mr. Fuqua, we boarded the house back up. Mr. Fuqua came down. I got a copy of that letter. The building department gave them a copy of the closure notice from 3 years ago. And that's it. That's what it was.
Okay.
I came down because that's part of my job, regardless if it's there, you know, on
Okay.
duty or not.
I get you, but were you getting paid? You were off duty.
No, I didn't get paid.
So what were you doing then? That's it. So wait, hold on, let's stop. Since you want to talk slick, okay?
Hold on.
I'm really here.
Okay, wait, I got it. Okay. He was a regular civilian. He wasn't a city employee at that time. So you mean to tell me, listen,
Please don't comment out loud,
Listen.
okay?
he wasn't an employee. When you're on the clock, you're an employee. If you guys have you can read the handbook. I mean, I don't even have, you guys can read the handbook. But he wasn't on the clock. And Is that all right for me to go and stop and interfere? I mean, it's okay to be a hero, but was he being paid to be a hero?
He just said he didn't get paid for it, but he does a job, he's the inspector, all the time.
I mean, is it salary? How does that work?
He works on a salary after he
He's
gets
a
it.
sworn fire official.
Fire official.
Under the state statute, has authority to enforce closures for health, welfare, and safety.
Oh.
And I understand Mr. Pittman's issue that he's off duty, but technically, he always has that authority. Sure, he probably wasn't scheduled to work that day, but he just told you that he came down because they called him to come down, and that's part of his duty and responsibilities under the statute in pursuing to his sworn oath to uphold the law under the statute, so that's why he was there.
Thank you.
All right. I mean, being that that's the only how I brought it up, my concern was basically, and I'll tell you personally, I think there's an attack on black families. You know, the first thing you mentioned was, all right, the house got raided. So was the LC raided, and that's now boarded up. There's a lot of issues that deal with, that, everybody else go through, that it seems like we get a bad stigma for. There were drugs and guns in the LC. You got a lot of people still go occupy the Elks. There's no boarding up there. So when you say that, that doesn't have any, that doesn't, they still, if they have the proper paperwork and the proper procedure, they should go. Because I do think black families are being targeted in New Brunswick. I think there's an issue. And I think that he will come out, and do extra for you guys on his day off. And I don't think that probably would have been the case in other circumstances. But we'll move on. At our other fishing Friday. Question, I also raised the last council meeting about the letter that my aunt received stating that the police did nothing wrong and that they did the investigation and everything, came up that the officers didn't do anything wrong. My question is, did any of you guys take the initiative to hear the audio of that date of October, 21st? September 29th, whatever. But did you take the initiative, after I raised concern about listening to the audio, to possibly see what these officers were found not guilty on? Did you take the initiative to listen to the audio? Any of you?
No. No, sir.
Why not?
Well, I wasn't here last meeting, I have to make that excuse.
Anyone, Councilman?
I mean, I didn't get around to listening to it, because we want to go back and ask. I'm just saying, because you personally said you was going to call me.
I didn't say that.
No. But it was on record. We had it from the immediate first meeting that it was raised. I said, call me tomorrow so we can try to resolve this. And you said, I'm going to call you. And we both looked into the camera. I remember I said, do you see this? I said, you personally said that you were going to call me.
It's been 71 days, the mayor's still not.
Hold on, I'm just asking.
Hold on. It's been 71 days, the mayor's still not contacted my aunt. For the record, I told you I wasn't going to call you because I said I want to talk right here.
No, then we said, I said, are you going to call me? And you said you were going to call me.
Give my phone. Give my phone. See, the reason why I have concern about you, and the reason why, since you have known me, have I ever changed my stance? Since you have known me, have I ever been any different than the way I am today?
What do you mean?
I'm asking you, have you ever seen me in a different demeanor, under a different capacity? Have you ever seen me act other than I do now? Outside of here, public forum, have you ever seen me act other than myself? I say what I mean and I stand on it. Have you ever known me to be any different?
I'll take that under.
I'm asking a question.
I'm going to concede the point. You may or may not have.
All right, well, on March the 22nd of 2012, when you won the councilman, I didn't even know you. Well, you know what, I did a little research on you, but you didn't know that I knew you. You had no idea that I knew you, right? This is what you inboxed me, not knowing me.
Okay.
Hey, what's up? We talked briefly at the forum at Ebenezer. I am reaching out to you for you to see if we can sit down and talk. You want a councilman in? See where we may agree or disagree on this medium. But anywhere else, it's a lot of grammatical errors, but anywhere else, but I agree. If you agree hit me up. You left your number. I'm not going to put your number up public, but it's a 908 number.
Okay.
And we can do great things and make this city great again. This was before you were a councilman.
Right.
So if I've never changed, right, for one, obviously at that point, this city wasn't great. At that point, according to this message, this city wasn't great. It's Facebook. May 22nd, 2012 at 11:59 p.m. This city wasn't great then. So you reached out to me. For one, I don't know if your people had you reach out to me, but you reached out to me to make this city great again. And I just asked you a question, have I ever changed my demeanor? I've been the same since you've known me. So why, if I've been the same, would you reach out to a guy like me to make this city great again, but then get in that seat and act like as if these issues I bring up don't exist? That's why I call people like you a sellout.
Okay.
I won't call you a sellout without proving you're a sellout.
See, now, okay.
Why would you inbox me that message then?
Okay.
You want me to read it again?
Okay. Read it 10 times. Read it 10 times.
You want me to read it again?
Read it 10 times. If that's what makes you feel better, read it 10 times. No. That's what makes you feel better. Because all I did was tell you, you said you were going to call. And I'm not going to go back and forth. I don't attack people personally. See, that's when you lose the argument, when you have to attack somebody personally.
No.
Because I mean, excuse me. No, I let you go just now.
Let me respond.
Unabated, just now. We just said, all I said was you said you were going to call me. And you didn't. So you go back to a 4-year-old inbox. I talk to anybody. I sit down with anybody and talk. And I don't have to argue with them. I don't try to belittle them. And I don't have to call them names. And I still don't. That's my consistency.
That's not a name, that's a
excuse
position.
me. That's my consistency.
Sellout is not a name, it's a
Okay,
position.
I'm a sellout. Well, let me tell you something. I've been standing up and fighting for people for a whole lot longer than you have. And I don't have to sit there and talk about it. And I don't have to make a point or put it in public.
If you've been
excuse me.
fighting for people longer than me, then why are you sending me the message?
Exactly.
Why are you sending me the message?
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr.
Because you sat back idle and a 7-year-old
I'm a
was
sellout.
disrespected.
I'm a sellout.
Yeah, you were a fan of mine before you got in that
Yes, I
seat.
am. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Bivens.
I'll keep you on that.
Anybody else like to address the council this
It's
evening?
not the last message I got either.
Okay.
Anybody else like to address the council this evening? Anyone else? Seeing no one else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Egan.
Yes.